your side?
Without much delay, we shall begin.
श्रीवत्सवंश कलशोदधिकौस्तुभस्य श्रीवासराघवगुरोस्तनयं ततश्च विद्या अवाप्य विबुधोत्तमतां दधानं कुर्वे सदा हृदि गुरुं करुणाकराख्यं लक्ष्मीनाथ समारंभां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि. Namaste. A very quick recap. In the previous class, we saw about the concept of Utsava Murti. We saw what is Utsava Murti, how it is different from Mula Murti. We saw how when the procession happens, Bhagavan's darshan is available for everybody. We also saw about how it is one of the ways to ensure a kind of social unity and equality. We also saw about bhakti yoga, and prapatti. So, what did we see? We saw what is bhakti. Sneha purvam anudhyanam bhaktirithyabhidiyate. Bhakti is very simple. Devotion. What is there in devotion? There is love in devotion, right? You show love. How do you show love? There are plenty of ways to show your love to Bhagavan. But we saw that this love has to be shown in an appropriate way. If I love Bhagavan, it doesn't mean I will do what I like and then say, look, I did this because I love Bhagavan. If I really love Bhagavan, I should do what he likes. That is how we should do it. We saw the benefits of bhakti as well. It burns papa karma, it gives punya karma, it takes us closer towards moksha. These are the benefits. Then what are the challenges that people face? Depending on our prarabdha karma, maybe we are born in a community where bhakti is not there. People say the Almighty is all powerful and we should fear the Almighty. Or maybe we are away from the concept of a supreme being itself, and we don't learn anything about bhakti at all. We just think anything can be done anywhere, it's okay. So those kinds of extreme cases are possible. There are also cases where we try to show bhakti but are unable to focus properly. There are cases where we show bhakti, do not get immediate results, and having not obtained the results, we get dejected and move away. These kinds of problems might occur in the course of showing bhakti. Then we saw what is bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is a specific procedure that is explained by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. It is further mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam as well. There are plenty of ways to perform bhakti yoga, and all of these ways are mentioned in the Vedic scriptures itself. How is it different from bhakti? Bhakti yoga has karma yoga and jnana yoga as its components. We saw about both of that also in the previous class. So within bhakti yoga, there is karma yoga and jnana yoga both. There is a component of actions that are done selflessly by doing karma phala tyaga and doing arpana of everything to Bhagavan. And there is a component of doing a kind of dhyana or contemplation with a similar bhava. So that is there. What are the benefits? It can grant moksha itself, but what are the challenges? It has to be done continuously. It has to be done non-stop. Taila dharadivat. That is the comparison used by the scripture and therefore by acharyas like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, and so on. Now, we saw that there is a component of surrender within bhakti yoga as well. For instance, Brahmadeva, when he failed to do bhakti yoga perfectly, when there was a hindrance, he had to surrender to Bhagavan. What kind of surrender was it? This surrender was a part of Bhakti Yoga, hence called Anga Prapatti. But why is it a part? Why is it not a whole? It is a part because the surrender that is done here is done with the expectation of being able to do the bigger task perfectly by the grace of Bhagavan. Hey Bhagavan, I surrender to you. Therefore, please make sure that my Bhakti Yoga is performed properly. Please make sure that whatever Brahma Vidya I am following is being followed properly. Please ensure that my attempts to attain moksha do not have any blockade. That kind of surrender is called Anga Prapatti. Naturally, Bhakti involves devotion. Anga Prapatti involves not just devotion but surrender. Prapatti means surrender, Sharanagati. So, what are the benefits? It ensures that whatever you are doing, whatever bigger thing you are doing, it gets the chances of hindrances reduced for the bigger thing that is being done. So, for example, if I am doing Bhakti Yoga and I am doing a Prapatti inside, if I am doing a Sharanagati inside it, then this Sharanagati would help to make the process of Bhakti Yoga easier for me to do. It would reduce hindrances. But note that I am saying reduce and not remove altogether. When you surrender to Bhagavan, ideally everything, all the problems should be gone, right? What does Krishna say in Gita? Aham tva sarva pape mokshayishyami. And then he further adds, Ma shuchaha, have no doubt about it, O Arjuna. I will definitely do it. But we are saying that it will only reduce. Why is it so? That is because surrender, when it is done, for which purpose are we doing surrender? That is one question. The second question is, how properly are we doing that surrender? The third question is that surrender sufficient to solve the problem that we have? What do I mean by a surrender being sufficient? It means if I am surrendering to Bhagavan, if I say, please help me, but let us say I have done a very great adharma and I'm continuing to do adharma and I am asking Bhagavan to help me. If by doing Brahma Vidya itself, I am doing it in such a way that somewhere or the other I am doing adharma, should Bhagavan really help me? Would Bhagavan really help me just because I pray to him? One question might arise here. Isn't it the duty of Bhagavan to just give boons as and when they are asked? We see Asuras praying to deities and getting boons, correct? Ravana got a boon from Brahma. Hiranyakashipu got a boon from Brahma. Bhasmasura got a boon from Shiva, and he tested Shiva's boon on Shiva himself. We see likewise that there are certain asuras who have got boons even from Vishnu. But when are boons given? When are they not given? It is a very important question. If it be said that Bhagavan is 100% perfect, then why should he directly give or even indirectly give? Why should he even let evil beings to get any kind of boon? If they surrender to him, if Ravana comes and surrenders to Shiva, let us assume a hypothetical situation. If Ravana surrenders to Shiva and says, hey Shiva, I surrender to you, I fall at your feet, I have kidnapped Sita, I want her to marry me, please help me. Do you think Shiva would help Ravana? Shiva would not help Ravana. Shiva would not help Ravana. As a matter of fact, if at all he comes to help, it would be a pretension of help. Why? Brahma Swayambhu Chaturananova. There is a beautiful shloka in Ramayana. Brahma Swayambhushtaturana va, Rudras Trinetras Tripurantako va, Indro Mahendra Suranayako va, Tratum na Shakta Yudhi Rama Vadhyam. Be it Brahma, who is called Swayambhu, and who is called Chaturanana for having four heads, of course, be it him, or be it that Rudra, who is called Trinetra for having three eyes. Anybody who has three eyes is called Trinetra, but that Shiva, Parvati Pati, is very popularly called Trinetra. So if Trinetra refers to just one person, who would that one person be? That would be Shiva. That is indicated by Na. Hence he is called Trinetra as well. Trinetra, Trinetra, both refer to him. Rudras Trinetras Tripurantokova, Indro Mahendra Suranayakova, or be it Indra. No matter who they are. I'm not explaining the shloka in greater detail, but this is what the gist of the shloka is. Tratum na shaktaha, yudhi ramavadhyam. They are not capable of protecting a person who is killed by Rama in battle. Why are they not capable? Because Rama vigrahavan dharma. Because Rama is the embodiment of dharma. So, where there is dharma, Bhagavan or any other sattvic being, doesn't matter whether it is Bhagavan or a Maharshi or even your own mother. Kakasura goes to his own mother and asks her for protection. She refuses to protect him. He goes to his father Indra. Indra refuses to protect him. In this manner, Kakasura circles the entire earth and then returns to Rama, not having anywhere else to go. That implies that when you go against dharma, then there is no real solution for you. Any solution that might be appearing in front of you would be a temporary one or an illusionary one. That needs to be understood. So all of these things are there. So if we have done papa karma and we think we can very easily escape from them simply by going and saying, hey Bhagavan, I surrender to you, now let me do this properly, the chances that we would be able to do it perfectly may not be high. Furthermore, if you say, please help me do this properly, it also implies that maybe to a small extent, there is a level of ahankara and mamakara inside. I want to do this. I am capable of doing this. But there is some problem. You remove the problem and I will be able to do it. This is the underlying thought process behind any kind of surrender that is made seeking help for removing hassles that we have. But if that is the way we are doing, that is an inferior one. And it has an element of ahankara and mamakara, right? It has an element of ahankara. I can do it. That kind of assumption is underlying there. If we are really incapable of doing, then what? If we are not qualified to do, then what? There was a rebirth of an asura. This rebirth lived in Treta Yuga. Many people say it is a later addition, but as per Shri Vaishnavas and even Smartas, it is a proper story present in Ramayana. We accept Uttarakanda as legitimate and we have a commentary on it as well. Even Madhvacharya explains further about why Shambhuka was killed by Rama. It is explained in greater detail in the Puranas. Now, what has happened in his story? Shambhuka was an evil guy. He wanted to marry Parvati Devi. How evil of him. And he lies to Rama shamelessly that he wants to go to Swarga with the same body and that is why he is doing tapasya. On top of that, if you really want to go to Swarga and are doing tapasya for it, would it really work? It would not work. That is explained in Balakanda of Ramayana itself, When Trishanku tries to go to heaven, he is unable. Vishwamitra comes to help him. Vasishtha does not help him. Vasishtha's children do not help him. But Vishwamitra decides to help him. Vishwamitra, with all his great power, he performs a yajna and sends Trishanku up. But the Devas push him down. They don't want him there with his mortal body. And thus he gets stuck in between, that too upside down. And just for him, Vishwamitra creates an upside down heaven, which we call as Trishanku Swarga. That story is given in much greater detail in Ramayana. We need not go inside of it. The point here is that the possibility of accomplishing what is claimed to be attempted itself is zero. In such a case, how does it matter whether you perform tapasya by standing on one leg or by hanging down from a tree branch? It is going to fail. So that needs to be understood. So coming back, there are many challenges here, right? There is no guarantee that you would be able to very continuously perform bhakti yoga. If you have got a hindrance, if by chance you have lost focus, you are doing a prayaschitta in the form of anga prapatti. Maybe that will help you to continue bhakti yoga in a focused way for some more time, but there is no guarantee that it would lead to a perfect future. That depends a lot on the past karma. So, technically, theoretically, the maximum number of possible anga prapattis that could be done is infinite. That is a challenge. That is where angi prapatti comes into play. This is presented as the solution to all the problems. What is angi prapatti? Anga means part. Angi means that which has the part. So here it is not a part by itself. It is the complete prapatti, the complete surrender. What is complete surrender? You declare complete surrender. In the previous case, there was a tiny element of the self being capable of doing something, right? You remove the hindrances. I'm traveling on the road, a tree has fallen on the path. You remove the tree for me and I will drive forward by myself. That is the case there. Here we say, you only have to remove the tree and you only have to take me forward as well. I am incapable of removing the tree. I am also incapable of driving. I am not really capable of doing anything. I don't consider myself to be capable of doing anything. Why? Because since Anadikala, I have been committing so many papa karmas. There is no guarantee that I would do anything properly if I take my own effort. If I do something by myself, I am an imperfect being. That is the whole reason why I want moksha. But being an imperfect being, whatever I try will also be imperfect. Therefore, if perfection needs to be achieved, it needs to come from a perfect entity. Hey Bhagavan, that perfect entity is you. Therefore, I am incapable of doing anything. This feeling of being incapable of getting or achieving moksha by oneself, right? It is called akinchanyatva. Akinchanyatva means the state of not being able to do anything. I am helpless. By myself, I am helpless. But with your grace, anything is possible. Therefore, you need to bless me. Therefore, you need to take me forward. You need to help me out. That is the concept. So, we pray to Bhagavan by performing an absolute surrender. So far, I have spent countless lives. Krishna says in Gita, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani. Tavacha Arjuna. Krishna says, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tava charjuna tanyaham veta sarvani natvam veta parantapa. He says, of mine many lives have gone. Of yours also many lives have gone, O Arjuna. But I remember mine. You know the difference between the two of us. I remember everything that happened in every life I took. In the sense, every birth I took. Janmani, right? Births. But you don't remember what happened in your past, O Arjuna. Therefore, when I taught Vivaswan, when I taught this secret to Surya Deva, and then Surya taught to Manu, and Manu taught to Ikshvaku, and so on, so many yugas ago. I remember all of that. But Arjuna, you don't remember, Krishna says. So many lives have gone, not only for Arjuna, for us also. We were also there during the time of Arjuna in some other bodies. I was there in some other body. Maybe I was a plant. Maybe I was in a stone. Like Ahalya, maybe somebody cursed me and I became a stone. Maybe I was so hopeless that I was a plant and I did not know how to think. Maybe I was a worm. Maybe I was a human being. Maybe I was a deva. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Why? Because I did not get moksha. Here I am talking in front of you. So at the end of the day, so far we have failed. Statistically speaking, all the statistics point that we have failed by using our own efforts. So if we continue with our own efforts, what is the guarantee? It is very less. So you look at it from a statistical viewpoint, or you look at it from a logical viewpoint, saying that we have punya and papa with us. So whenever we try to do something good, there would also be a prapti virodhi papa. Even if we try to perform surrender for that, there is no guarantee that the entirety of our papa karma would disappear. All of those issues are there. So to get out of all of that, what is proposed is Angi Prapatti. It is the absolute surrender, Paripurna Sharanagati. So Krishna hints at that in Gita. Although in Gita he is teaching Bhakti Yoga, he is not teaching what we call as Prapatti Yoga here. He is hinting at it. But how do we know that such a path is there? We know it through the Vedas. The Vedas, when describing various Brahma Vidyas, what is Brahma Vidya? It is a kind of knowledge that takes us towards Brahman. It helps us to achieve the supreme state of being. So one of the Brahma Vidyas is called Nyasa Vidya. Nyasa is the declaration of surrender. And that Nyasa Vidya, which is further explained in the Smritis, is what we call as Prapatti, or sometimes as Prapatti Yoga itself. Now, what are the benefits of this complete surrender? Of course, one should know what complete surrender means. Is it just a declaration? Can I just declare and then behave in whichever way I want? That is another question that needs to be answered. There was this famous British guy, General Dyer. All of you must be aware of what he did, right? The Jallianwala Bagh incident. Do you know what he did after that? After mercilessly ordering the killing of so many innocent Indians, General Dyer went to the church and apologized to a father. They have this concept in Christianity that if you feel bad that you have sinned, you go and you reveal about your sins to the father, and then all your sins would disappear immediately. They have such a concept in Christianity. General Dyer did that. Would we accept something like that? We say, yes, it is very important to realize that you have done something wrong. Whether General Dyer really realized at that point of time or not is another question. What if he doesn't realize and just pretends to do it? That is another question. But what matters more is that having a sense of remorse is not enough. If I cause a wound by mistake. Suppose by mistake, I hit one of you with a stick. What should I do? Will feeling bad be enough? If I feel bad about it, what about the pain? The pain has already been inflicted. If you're injured, it is my fault that you're injured. Your pain is not going to disappear just because I feel bad. So there are many things that need to be done, correct? Ideally, what should I do? Let us talk in a purely logical sense. I have to ensure that such a mistake never ever gets repeated in future. Yes, I have to feel bad about it. I have to ensure that such a mistake doesn't happen in future. But is that all? No. I should apply some medicine or at least arrange for medicine if I have injured you. Correct? The pain that has been inflicted on you because of me, I should take steps towards healing you. Is that all? No. Maybe if I have committed the crime of hurting a person and that person's leg is fractured, now the person is in the hospital. I have agreed to admit him to the hospital. Is that all? No. As the person heals, the person is still going to have a level of suffering during the time of healing. What could otherwise be done by the person would be unable to be done, right? It would not be possible to do things properly until the person heals. So, what should I do? I should try to compensate for that as well. How many things are there then? There are four things. It is not just about feeling bad and apologizing. Yes, I should feel bad and I should apologize. I should humbly apologize to the person. But if I'm a very truthful person, then just giving an apology is not enough. After apologizing to the person, I should try to heal the person's wound. I should try to compensate for the losses incurred during the time of healing. And I should ensure that such mistakes never happen in the future. That would be the complete package. But here we are saying, you don't have to do all of that. Just go and surrender to Bhagavan. Everything will be resolved. How is this possible? You surrender, you declare surrender, and then everything gets resolved. No, everything does not get resolved immediately. There is a catch. In fact, there are a number of catches. One, how a surrendered person should behave. I have cited this many times. I will say one more time. Anukulyasya sankalpaha. Pratikulyasya varjanam. Anukulyasya sankalpaha. That we should have a thought process that ensures that we do only that which pleases Bhagavan. Pratikulyasya varjanam. We should shun whatever displeases him. Under these two, automatically the 4 points that I mentioned would also be covered. Secondly, what if we don't do these perfectly? We have still declared surrender, right? Yes, we have declared surrender, but we should try our best to be that way. Maybe I don't have the money to admit him to the hospital, but I should at least try my best. I should at least call an ambulance. If I don't do even that, that means I am not morally a correct person, correct? So, of course, the example that we are taking is that of hurting a person. But the reason why we took that example is because we are presenting Prapatti as a solution to end our suffering. It is much more than just ending our suffering, right? It is not just about ending our dukkha. They classify dukkha into three types: adhyatmika, adi daivika, adi bhautika. Sometimes it is called tapa. So it is called dukkhatraya or tapatraya. If we open Sankhya Karika, for example, it is called dukkhatraya. The very first shloka of Sankhya Karika starts by mentioning dukkhatraya. What is the aim of life? It is to get out of the three types of dukkha. That is how it is presented there by Ishvara Krishna. But anyway, yes, we need to get out of all sorts of problems, be it a physical problem, be it a mental problem, be it a problem that has been caused by nature. Suddenly some tsunami is coming. Oh, I took care of my health. I'm very healthy. I'm fine. I don't have any enemies. Even a dog is not there to bite me. But there is a tsunami coming all of a sudden. What will happen? All sorts of issues, right? There are plenty of ways to hurt us physically or mentally. We need to get out of all of them. But getting out of all of them is one advantage. What are the other benefits of attaining moksha itself? We are saying the primary benefit of Angi Prapati is getting moksha itself. But what are the benefits of moksha? Yes, we are getting out of Dukkhatraya. Then we will have Ananta Sukhanubhava as per Vishishtadvaitha. Why do I have to say as per Vishishtadvaitha? Because moksha is classified into multiple types in Advaita. In Advaita Vedanta, moksha is classified into many types. But the absolute moksha, the supreme moksha, which is called Paramartha, Paramarthika Sthiti, that state of absolute truth, which is to be attained as per Advaita Vedanta, there is nirgunatva, there is absence of any attribute. But as per Vishishtadvaita Vedanta, there is an eternal difference and also non-difference between Jiva and Parabrahman. And therefore, there is an eternal relationship between the two of them. And as these are eternal, these are going to stay forever. That means that we could get a sthiti which is equal to that of Parabrahman in lots and lots of aspects. But definitely somewhere or the other, we will be differing from it. As a simple example, we would definitely be differing in the fact that we are going to attain moksha, whereas Parabrahman has always been in that sthiti. Parabrahman, I'm not saying it attained moksha, but the qualities that we would get on attaining moksha, those qualities have always been there with Parabrahman. That needs to be understood by us. Therefore, no matter what we do, there is some level of difference between us and Parabrahman. But this is just one example. There are plenty of more examples that could be given. The point here is, as per Vishishtadvaita, Jiva is not Paramatma. There is a difference. So, Advaita would say, yes, that is true, but that was your original state of being. There is no difference. Jiva Brahmaiva Naparaha. But in Vishishtadvaita, we would say, no, there is going to be a continuous level of difference and also a level of non-difference between the Jiva and the Paramatma. Therefore, there is a level of permanent difference as well. So, yes, the benefit is that we could get Ananta Sukhanubhava, we would get Ananta Kalyana Guna, just like Bhagavan, we would get infinite auspicious qualities. That is what is meant by Ananta Kalyana Guna. Ananta Sukha means what? Infinite happiness, infinite bliss. We would experience infinite bliss, we would have infinite knowledge, we would have infinite ability. What do you mean by infinite ability? If I get infinite ability and I do something, but Bhagavan does something else, wouldn't there be a conflict of interest? There would be no conflict of interest because the way we behave would also be perfect, 100% perfect. Our thoughts would be 100% pure. Our words would be 100% pure. Our actions would be 100% pure. Therefore, anything and everything that we are thinking is what Bhagavan would also be thinking. So, we would never think something against what Bhagavan is thinking or different from what his will is in the state of moksha. Okay, more about that later. All of these are going to explain moksha sthiti. There is a lot more to it there. We will see that in greater detail at a later point of time. Are there challenges towards performing Angi Prapati? Yes, there are challenges. People should know that such a thing exists. People should ensure that the fundamentals are not broken. What are the fundamentals? The fundamental that I am incapable, that akinchanyatva, the fundamental that he can save me, rakshishyati iti vishwasaha, the fundamental that even if by chance I forget akinchanyatva, I should remember that he can protect me and that he alone can protect me, not anybody else. Nobody else can protect. Only he can protect because he is perfect. He is Paramatma. So that pure level of faith in Paramatma needs to be there. If there is a wavering of that faith, if I suddenly start thinking that no, maybe somebody else can also give me moksha. Maybe I go somewhere, I party with friends, I feel so happy. I think, what have I been thinking all along? I thought there is some weird state of moksha that I have never seen. I have only heard about it. I have only read about it. Why should I believe in that state? Look at me tonight. I am enjoying with friends. I have no sadness. I am partying all night. I am so happy. I have never been happier before. And I don't think there is a level of happiness above this. This is definitely moksha. I have granted it for myself by myself. If I think that way, would it count as being a prapanna? No, it would definitely not. We need to have faith. So there are certain things that need to be understood, yes, but even if we don't understand any of that, we should have faith in Bhagavan. And we should have faith only in Bhagavan in this regard, because Bhagavan alone can grant us moksha. Nobody else can grant. An imperfect being cannot grant a perfect result. So we should understand it and realize it and act accordingly. Is there anything else which if we fail to do? So if I lose faith in Bhagavan, or if I think that I don't need Bhagavan to get moksha, then this surrender becomes meaningless, right? When do you surrender? You surrender when you are incapable. If you think you are capable of doing it without Bhagavan, then the surrender to Bhagavan is naturally cancelled. It is logically cancelled. Is there a way of cancellation which is not directly logically implied by the concept of surrender? Yes, there is something that is indirectly implied. What is that? That is Bhagavata apachara. An apachara, a sin that is committed towards Bhagavatas, counts as a way to cancel prapatti. Bhagavan loves Bhagavatas. They are people who are saintly and always focused in Him. Their thoughts, words, actions, everything move towards Him. Such kinds of people, maybe they are scholarly, maybe they are not scholarly, maybe they don't know even a single word of Sanskrit, but maybe they are the greatest of the devotees. Could be. We don't know. But if we commit an apachara towards Bhagavatas, then even the surrender that has been done to Bhagavan would stand cancelled. Bhagavan values his bhaktas above himself. Therefore, if we are truly surrendering to him, we should not go and insult his Bhagavatas in any way. Bhagavatas are all his people. So if we are surrendering to him, do we have the right to insult his people? No, we don't. That should be kept in mind. Now a question might come, oh, does it mean that we should never speak against anybody? What if some Bhagavata does something wrong? We have openly accepted that nobody here is perfect until the state of moksha. Sita herself has said, na kaschinna paradhyati. Then how are we going to say that if a Bhagavata does something wrong, should I not call it wrong? Don't insult the Bhagavata. If the Bhagavata is doing something wrong, go and inform the Bhagavata in a polite way and try to ensure that the person improves. So, if we really want to correct mistakes, there are plenty of sattvic ways of doing it. Should we really correct mistakes is also one thing. There might be, maybe he is doing a tiny mistake, but is doing very, very great things otherwise. In such a case, there is no need for us to go and show off that the person is doing something wrong and we know that we know what should be done. There is no need to do that. If there is a big mistake, if that person himself is doing Bhagavata Apachara, if that person is doing Bhagavata Apachara or Bhagavata Apachara, then should we point it out or not? Yes, we should point it out. So, of course, it doesn't mean that if a person is having a lot of bhakti, we should ignore anything and everything that is done by them. That is untrue. There are plenty of people with bhakti who still do wrong things. They might even do adharmic things every now and then. We cannot treat them as saints just because they have bhakti. We cannot treat them as perfect just because they are saintly. At the same time, we should have great respect for them and we should never intend to hurt them. We should appreciate what they are doing, and we should try to encourage more and more people to take their good qualities. I heard this in a speech by Sringeri, the current Sringeri Shankaracharya. He very beautifully said that even if a person has 90% bad qualities, we should try to inculcate only the 10% good qualities of that person. We should not look at the 90% bad qualities and focus on them. If we focus on bad qualities, we might also end up getting bad qualities. Focus on what is good, even if it is only 10%. You appreciate it and you inculcate it and you will improve in life. Very great statement. So, yes, that is how we should do it. But if we commit a Bhagavata Pachara, the Angi Prapatti would also get cancelled. So we should stay very cautious there. Here is a summary of what has been said so far. How do I move this? Okay. Here is a short summary, a kind of comparison. Bhakti is devotion. We show it through thoughts, words, and actions. It burns sins, gives punya, takes us closer towards moksha. But there are plenty of challenges, right? Be it in our thoughts, like ego, forgetfulness, lack of understanding of Bhagavan. They all come in thoughts. In words and actions also, it is possible to break bhakti. If we show bhakti towards the wrong being, again, that is also not going to give us the phala. As Krishna says, Yajante satvika devan yaksharakshamsi rajasaha pretan bhutagananshyanye yajante tamasa janaha. Krishna tells Arjuna. So, bhakti does not imply that bhakti is always shown only to Paramatma. If people misunderstand Paramatma and worship some inferior being as Paramatma, or if somebody worships an imaginary being as Paramatma, would the phala come? No. All the phala that comes, it comes only through Paramatma. Maybe he reciprocates your love for even the imaginary being and gives you some phala, but that is not the complete benefit that you get, that you are supposed to get. It is our duty to show bhakti. Now, Bhakti Yoga, a group of similar paths I have said, because there are a number of Brahma Vidyas that are told, close to 3 dozen. They have Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga as components. And they are available to certain qualified people. You should know how to do it. You should be capable of doing it. If it says you have to perform meditation in this manner, you should be capable of doing that meditation. If you are not capable, then you cannot do it. Simple as that. So you have to show bhakti towards Bhagavan in a manner that is ordained by scripture to do Bhakti Yoga properly. And if it is done perfectly, without a break, it will grant moksha. Within how much time? There is no guarantee. Depends on past karma and everything. So it might take very long to achieve it. Now, there is a type of Sharanagati that helps us to do Bhakti Yoga in an easier way. This Sharanagati could very well be done by Karma Yogis or even Jnana Yogis. A person who is doing Karma Yoga, not Bhakti Yoga, but only pure Karma Yoga, even that person, if by chance Karma Yoga is called by Krishna as something that is easier than Jnana Yoga, yet even in that easier path, if we face a blockade, if we face a barrier, we could perform a surrender to Bhagavan and pray to him to help us do it properly. That would remove our sins and would help us to resume our procedure. But how many such Sharanagatis will have to be done? We don't know. So better than all of these three approaches is the absolute prapatti, Angi prapatti. It is self-reliant. It is self-reliant Sharanagati that can independently give moksha. What do we mean by prapatti giving moksha? Prapatti is just something that is done. How can that give moksha? No, we imply that when we say it can independently give moksha, it means when performed independently, in the sense that it is not done as part of anything else, and it is even if it is not done alongside anything else, Bhagavan would give us moksha. How do we do it? There are four different ways: Svanistha, Uktinistha, Acharya Nishtha, Bhagavata Nishtha. I am not sure if we have discussed this before. If we haven't, I will explain them in the next class. But if we perform it in one of these four ways, so all of these four are not mandatory. These are not different steps. These are different ways of performing that prapatti. But if we perform prapatti, then Sanchita karma would get instantly destroyed. What is Sanchita karma? Karma that has been accumulated since a long period of time. Since Anadikala, we have been acquiring karma, punya and papa. We have been acquiring karma since long. That karma that we have accumulated so far can be divided into two parts. One is that set of karma, that set of past karma that has started giving its results. For example, I tried to log in. The internet did not work properly. I had to immediately look for a phone, get an alternate connection to the internet. There is no guarantee. It is getting late. I don't know what is going to happen. Will the connection work? Will it not work? I am trying for the first time. All of that is there. That is also an effect of some karma, right? I want to do something and I'm unable to do. I'm getting delayed. All of you are waiting. 10 minutes of your precious time are getting wasted. That is also an effect of karma only. But this is all coming as an effect of something that has already started. So there is a set of past karma for which the results have already started coming out. That is why when we are born, they say, as per the horoscope, this person will have this difficulty at this point of time in life. All of that they predict. How do they predict? Because our past karma, some of our past karma, it has been decided that some amount of that particular past karma is going to come to us in certain ways. Hence, it is called prarabdha karma. That part of our past karma, which has already started giving out results. What about the remaining part, which is the majority? That remaining majority part, which has not yet started giving results, is called sanchita karma. Literally accumulated karma for which phala has not come. When we get karma phala, the karma disappears, right? How do you burn karma? By having karma phala anubhava. So, sanchita karma is that large portion of karma for which the results have not started coming out yet. They will come at a later time. How does it come? It comes by having the sum total of all past karma for which phala has not started coming out. Take a random portion of that. A random portion is selected and made into prarabdha. The remaining is sanchita. Once this prarabdha is over, when we are burning this prarabdha, we will also be doing new karma. That new karma will get added to the old balance. And from that total, another random portion will be taken. It will be made into prarabdha. The remaining will be sanchita. In this manner, it keeps on going. Thus, our karma balance is never zero. And therefore, we keep experiencing births and deaths. There is non-stop punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, because the sanchita karma is not destroyed. But if you perform Angi Prapatti, sanchita karma gets instantly destroyed. It's a very great thing. Only prarabdha is left. As only prarabdha is left, that has to be burned. And that will be quickly burned by using bhakti and other means. And if you are a perfect prapanna, you could very well demand the time of your moksha. Before that time, Bhagavan will ensure that whatever little phala is left, all of that will come to you. If you are not a perfect prapanna, that is still okay. You are seeking moksha by the end of this life. Usually we seek at the end of the current life. But, or maybe I would say, no, I want to serve Bhagavan for some amount of time using this body. Give me one more life, maybe of 30 years, and after that I will get moksha. Bhagavan will agree to that also. But during that much time, he will ensure that all the prarabdha karma gets burned. And during that time, if we remain prapannas, we are continuously burning our papa karma even under prarabdha. So the future would also become easy. The suffering would reduce. The potential suffering that we should be getting due to our past karma in future due to prarabdha karma would reduce. And due to sanchita karma, whatever is supposed to come to us in the greater future is going to disappear altogether. Thus, moksha would be attained in the shortest possible time. Knowing this concept, not many people know it. Maybe it is not necessary to understand the entire concept. Having it performed is more important. It is surrender at the end of the day, a declaration of surrender. So you need not be a great scholar to be able to do it, but you need complete faith in Bhagavan. You should worship him alone. When you say worship him alone, it means worship him alone in the context of attaining moksha. It does not mean that our parents are not worshipable or anything. And of course, we should avoid Bhagavatapachara. If we do these, we would get moksha in the shortest possible time. That is the concept taught by Bhagavad Ramanuja. So I would like to end today's class here. If there is any question, please let me know. And if any part has not been understood or has been felt to be complicated, please let me know. I will explain it in greater detail in the next class. Or if it is short enough, I will explain right away.
If there is any questions, please kindly unmute yourself and ask, or else even you can put it in a chat box.
No, it was clear, and the essence of it, we have to learn bhakti and how to surrender.
Yes. So there isn't, there are plenty of ways to show bhakti, right? There are 9 different ways explained by Prahlada and so on. All of that is there. What we are saying is that when you are doing a perfect surrender, it is not necessary to show bhakti in all the 9 forms in a perfect manner or anything. It is not necessary to be qualified enough to learn a Brahma Vidya and do that difficult Brahma Vidya properly, continuously, with so many prayashittas and everything. All of those difficult paths will become unnecessary for us. Everybody is qualified. See, if there is one thing for which everybody is qualified, that would be in saying that we are unqualified, right? If I say I am qualified in something, if I say I am qualified in this field, you would say you are qualified in some other field. There I might be unqualified. Here you might be unqualified. We don't have an equal level of qualification. if we are judged on the basis of knowledge in different topics or abilities in different things. But if the criterion itself is lack of qualification, lack of ability, then all of us are on the same plane. All of us are at the same level. I don't have the ability to get moksha by myself. You don't have the ability to get it by yourself. If I had had the ability, I would have already got. If you had had the ability, you would have already got. None of us have that. Therefore, we need the support of Bhagavan. He is the one who is going to grant us. Even with his support, we are not going to achieve moksha. It is not our achievement. It is something that he is going to grant to us. That is how we take it. As I said, a perfect state of existence cannot be a result of an imperfect state. If we are imperfect entities, as we are imperfect entities, we cannot get perfect states by ourselves. We need a perfect being to grant us the perfect state. So, in that sense, all of us are already equal. Equality of all has been established. Everybody is qualified to do it. Nobody is unqualified to do absolute surrender to Bhagavan. So, it is a very great way. And yes, it is a Vedic path. What more do we need? And it is the easiest path, shortest path. How many ever benefits you could get to judge a path towards Bhagavan, no matter how many such factors you add. In every sense, this would come to be the easiest and the best. It is a very great concept. We will, of course, be discussing more about it. This is at the core of Vishishtadvaitha philosophy. Because once you know what Jivatma is, what Paramatma is, what the relationship between the two is, and therefore what the duty of Jivatma is to attain moksha, then how do you attain that moksha has to be seen. That is what we looked at right now.
Thank you very much. Provided further clarity.
If there is anything else, please let me know. If there is nothing, I would like to conclude the class here.
There are no questions, so we can conclude Acharyaji.
श्रीवत्सवं चक्रशोदधि कौस्तुभस्य श्रीवासराघव गुरोस्तनयं ततश्च विद्यावाप्य विबुधोत्तमतां दधानं कुर्वे सदा हृदि गुरुं करुणाकराख्यं लक्ष्मीनाथ समारम्भां नाथयामन मध्यमां अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां मङ्गलाशासनप्रैः मदाचार्य पुरोगमैः सर्वैश्च पूर्वैराचार्यैः सत्कृताय अस्तु मङ्गलम्. Thank you for attending.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Good night.